99X and the Morning X, Barnes and Leslie. Show note for Friday, James Barron will get into the holiday spirit with us, sitting in on the show at least an hour. I will pull him in here and lock this door. We have the new doors you have to scan to get out, so it's great when he comes in. He can't get back out till we let him out. So Jimmy Barron.
The family back together.
JB will be on the show this Friday.
You want a good night out? Talking about Fridays, Barnes? How about 99X Adult Skate? At one of our favorite places, Park Tavern. Friday nights, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Adults only. This is going on through February 23rd. You can skate with the 99X crew every Friday night at Park Tavern.
Let's talk movies. Matt Goldberg is the critic with the Atlanta Film Critics Circle, who is on with us often when there's a movie emergency.
Yeah.
And want to get in with him as we start going through all these different lists and stuff about this year's biggest movies, the biggest movies of 2023. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great. A lot of good movies this year.
Big holiday plans?
Big holiday plans is I'm going to see who I can convince to go see Wonka with me again, because I really enjoyed that one.
I knew it would be a movie. I'm like, big holiday plans? Anytime you hit a movie geek, yep, I'm going to the movies all day Christmas.
Yes.
And they're saying Wonka's doing really well because of Timothée Chalamet, so...
Yeah, he's great in it. Big theater kid energy in that performance.
Super excited about award season, but I want to see who is on your list.
All right. So at number 3, this is a great reunification of an actor and a director of Paul Giamatti and Alexander Payne, who previously teamed up for the great film Sideways, and now they are back together again for a film that I feel is going to be a new holiday classic. Here, take a look.
You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him? What's wrong with you?
There's nobody here, okay? You stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
That's The Holdovers, which is getting a lot of praise. The Atlanta Film Critics Circle, we not only put that on our top 10 list, but we also awarded Divine Joy Randolph Best Supporting Actress for her performance in that film. It's a great movie, really enjoyable.
What is it about?
So it takes place in the 1970s at a boys' boarding school, and Paul Giamatti plays this sort of unlikable history teacher, who is put in charge of the kids who don't get to go home for the holiday break for whatever reason. Their parents are out of town, so they have to hold them over at the school.
Oh.
And it becomes sort of this kind of unique friendship forms between him, the school's cafeteria lady, played by Randolph, and then this one student, played by newcomer Dominic Sessa, who is great as a sort of student that Paul Giamatti sees a bit of himself in. He's kind of a wise Alec. He's really got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, but he's also really smart, and he does have a good heart.
I think it's a breakout role.
No, it's absolutely a breakout role, and it's also just the kind of film that feels like a really well-done throwback to films of the 1970s.
I don't know what it was about this movie, but I was all in. I did stay home. I paid the $20 to watch it, and I was so drawn by the characters. The Holdovers, my number one pick.
Oh, wow.
My number one movie of the year. Paul Giamatti, you're right. The cast is just impeccable. And I don't know who the music supervisor is, but Barnes, the music in this movie is perfection. But yeah, The Holdovers, Paul Giamatti.
I have a hard time with Paul Giamatti. I struggle with him.
I think that's because of Billions.
He's just the same in everything.
He's a brilliant actor.
I get that, and I hear that.
I disagree. I know he's very good at playing grumpy, but I think he's...
Yes. It's grumpy. That's
he's
it.
He's so good in this.
All right.
So I would say for my next film, from this little indie filmmaker, not a lot of people know him. He's done these small films like Goodfellas and Raging Bull and The Departed. You may be aware of him, and he's got a new one out this year that I think people are really taking to. Why don't we take a look?
We have so many deaths we've lost count.
There's just bad luck.
Seems more like an epidemic than bad luck to me.
Osage is dying by the enemy. Do not let them die alone.
All right. So that was, of course, Martin Scorsese, the legend, and his new movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. And this is just a fantastic film. It's based off the book by David Grant, which is about, the book is sort of looking into the murders of the Osage people in the early 20th century. And these Osage people had come into some money, a lot of money, because even though they were put on the worst land, that land had oil. And so they had a lot of money, and then comes in these white people trying to find a way to part them from it, usually through murder. And what's really fascinating about Scorsese's take here is it's not just about sort of this racial divide and sort of this white supremacy underpinning American action, but he roots it in the story of a marriage between Leonardo DiCaprio's character and Lily Gladstone's character. And they're both incredible, but Lily Gladstone has a very strong shot at winning the Best Actress Oscar this year. Her performance as Molly Burkhart is just heartbreaking and yet very real. It's not a performance where you sort of, sometimes you think about it as most acting, the big flashy scenes. This is a low-key performance that absolutely draws you in.
We're talking to Matt Goldberg, Atlanta Film Critics Circle, about the best movies of 2023. Matt, what do you think it's going to take to get people really back in the theater?
Well, I think we're getting there.
Are we?
Slowly but surely. We are. I mean, if you look at Barbenheimer weekend and sort of the success of those films, I think what takes people back to the theater is making it more of an event. I mean, even look at something like the Taylor Swift Eras film. That was a huge hit, and it's because people, I think, want the communal experience, but they also want to feel like they're not doing homework, that they have to see 800 movies before they see the new movie. I think the age of relentless franchising might be coming to a close, and it's more about selling people on a really exciting idea, and that if they're not part of this cultural moment, they're going to miss out.
Barnes, you bring up a great point, because why is it that people rushed back into going to concerts? We're talking live music is full on. Why is that not happening in the theaters? Matt, you brought up some really good points.
I don't know, but when I've gone into the theater the last couple of times, maybe I've been in twice this year. I used to go all the time. And now I go in, there's no one there. That kind of kills the buzz already, because you want to feel that community of being in a theater where everyone's laughing or everyone's crying or everyone's upset or scared. And now when it's just you, it's like, well, I can do that at my house, And
honestly, I will pay $20 to see something that's still in the theaters, because it's still cheaper than going to the theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing is that, you look at these studios are all trying to figure out their own streaming plays. And I think, unfortunately, they're conditioning the audience to say, oh, you can just wait a few weeks and it'll be streaming on whatever. And I think they need to pull back from that. They need to say, look, if you want to see this now and really be part of it, you need to see it. You need to get into the theater. And I think, for instance, Warner Brothers was pretty smart to, when they released Barbie, they let Barbie be a hit. It came out in July.
That's true.
It only hit streaming this month. So if you wanted to see Barbie, you had to go there. Now, they're in a tricky position, because what if a movie doesn't perform as well as Barbie did on its opening weekend? Do you leave it in theaters or do you move it to streaming? But I think they might need to sort of eat those losses a bit, because otherwise it ends up cannibalizing the films that are hits, because you take away from people that would see it in a theater but now are like, I'll just wait till streaming. They need to sort of start breaking people away from that mentality.
All right, looking at the best movies of 2023, we're down to number one, the Atlanta Film Critics Circle. Matt Goldberg, what is it?
So I think for Atlanta Film Critics Circle, this was not a hard decision. In fact, talking to the vote counters, it was pretty unanimous what our number one pick was. Take a look.
We imagine a future, and our imaginings horrify us.
And that's Oppenheimer, one of the biggest hits of the year. I feel like this is the film to beat in this year's Oscar race. It has critical support. It has commercial support. And, you wouldn't think a film about a guy building the atomic bomb would be such a popular sensation, but people really went for it. It's a great film with an outstanding cast, and it really captivated people. And I think this is the film that finally gets Christopher Nolan his first Oscar.
I did not see it. It's almost 4 hours, right?
It's 3 hours.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Barnes, you added an hour.
I thought it was like 3.5.
Killers of the Flower Moon is 3.5.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, these movies are getting... That's another thing to get people back. Let's get back to that 90-minute mark.
Yeah, Barnes, wasn't Oppenheimer one of your biggest Google searches?
I think it might have been. Both the movie and the real the real thing, like the truth. It was Wiki. It was the Wiki searches.
Yes.
Have to give it a shot. Matt Goldberg, thank you very much. We'll look into 2024 movies with you soon, I'm sure.
All right, great. Well, thanks, guys. Have a happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
Happy New Year to you. This is the original. It's 99X.